Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The Immaculate Conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the Son of God. To you was kind of odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai.
Hebrew Israelites, Kwam Yasha.
It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High.
Okay, good.
Wait, it's live.
Okay, cool. But I'll try to find it real quick. Just to show the brothers the question, because it goes into. You got it? If y'all find it, man, let me know. Right to the point, man.
God.
What do you got?
2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 15 through 17.
2 Kings chapter 6. Yep. Start verse 11. That's it.
God.
2 Kings chapter 6, 11 through 17. Read that.
God. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 11 through 17. Therefore the heart of the king of Assyria was sore troubled for this thing, that he called his servants and said unto them, will ye not show me which of us is for the king of Israel? Verse 12. And one of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel, telleth the king of Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber.
Go ahead.
And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he was in Duas.
So this king wanted Elisha to come and I guess interpret his dream.
Come.
Right? So he was telling his servant to go find out where Elisha's at, so we can have him come to us. Go ahead.
Dothan, verse 14. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night and compassed the city about. Verse 15. And when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen up early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both by horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? Verse 16. And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them.
Right, so he had a whole army that could pass the city coming to get Elisha. Elisha's servant asked, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? We ain't, it's just us. We got a whole army out here looking at it, it's just us. He said, don't fear. He said, there's many more with us than there is with them. Read on.
Verse 17. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man.
Go ahead.
And he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha.
But it's bad, because that means the servant didn't have the ability to see. What was it like today? Like now, so we become unidentified. Because there's chariots around us all the time. Do I have the power to see it? You know what I'm saying? I'm only going to have the power to see it if the Heavenly Father allowed me to see it. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't, and like most, we don't see it. We don't know what's protected. We look like we just stuck here. It's about us having to fight for ourselves. That's why we voting. That's why we go get guns. That's why we oh, okay. That's why we voting. You know what I'm saying?
Mic check. Mic check.
Can you hear me? you gotta look. That's why we voting. That's why we joined the military. That's why we try to stack up guns. People try to leave the country. We try to do everything to protect ourselves. But the Most High said, I've always protected Israel. I protected Israel even when you didn't know I was protecting you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we go all through the class and show that it's about chariots. This is the one thing the Most High used all the time. You know what I'm saying? And the scriptures speak about it. Yeah, I mean, that was one. I have a page and a half of the scriptures that deal with just go to the chariots, man. But like the brother said, they already did a couple classes on them. So if you go in the archives, man, you can definitely hit it up. If you still have questions, they take you all day. They got enough. All right. Any other questions? What was your question, Orion? Or did he answer?
God, he did. And then I had another one too.
That's the first one.
Come.
And tell me where was that?
Exodus chapter 4, verse 25. Then Sephora took a sharp stone and cut off.
Hold on a second. You said Exodus chapter what? 4?
4 verse 25.
This is Moses, right?
Come.
Okay. What's the question?
The last precept. Second to last precept. No, it was the last precept.
45?
Yes, sir.
It says it was a poor took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son
Come.
and cast it at his feet and said, surely your bloody husband art thou to me?
God.
So what was the question?
What is she meaning by surely your bloody husband art thou to me?
Read verse 26.
Verse 26. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband art thou because of the circumcision.
So, I mean, that's the reason why she said it. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why she said it.
Mic check.
She was looking at the, because same thing when you read, was it Abraham? When he had to circumcise. It was the same spirit that Sarah was in. The spirit was in, why are you not going to put my son through this type of pain, through this type of suffering?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something too symbolic about it. It was just saying, for this type of suffering, why are you going to put him through this type of suffering?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if I was teaching it, there's no special breakdown that I would have to go into for that point. No different than the fact that she's looking at the pain you're finna cause him. This is not normal. This is not something that's naturally done, especially looking at where Sephora was from and the way they grew up. You know what I'm saying? Actually, it was a baby, but this is a more mature child. You know what I'm saying? But this is what she looked at. That's all it was. But the next verse says that's the reason why she said it, because of the circumcision. You know what I'm saying?
God.
So I wouldn't take it that much deeper,
Okay.
honestly. But you be going into Unless the dog, unless what did you say? What did you go on there? What did you go in about it?
Just
Shalom.
because when you read up on 24, it says the angel of the Lord was came to kill him.
Right.
You know what I mean? That she was seeing this too. That how you gonna forget to circumcise your son?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Come.
You out of your mind, basically. You a bloody man for forgetting this.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Nice. And that's one point. We didn't read up, right? So if you like I was saying, reading the story, it was gonna be worse if he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that child was gonna end up losing his son instead of just circumcising him. So either way, it's still wisdom. It still makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because it was still based on the fact that either you forgot to circumcise him, and now this is the way she looked at it, or because of the circumcision, this is the way she looked at it. But if there's an angel coming to kill my son, that would be the thought pattern. How can you forget this? How is it something you can forget when this is a part of y'all's custom? That's required for him to be circumcised, and then for an angel to come and say, I'm gonna put you to death. You know what I'm saying? So either way, it still broke down either way.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I got a question. Melchizedek, you know, have anything deeper on Melchizedek? Besides Hebrew?
That's like what reincarnation class.
It'd be a lot to go into for
Yeah.
the manifestation of Christ. I mean, but one of the brothers want to go into that.
Haven't here.
Huh?
We haven't went into that aspect of it.
Yeah, me either. I don't normally. We show you all through the Bible when Melchizedek was a priest. You know what I'm saying? He was a priest all through Hebrews. But that truly, for me, that's the extent I like to go. Because I still say prove all things. And I'd rather, if I show you something, you can go to the Bible and prove it. You know what I'm saying? I can show some of the things he was taught and how it was.
Yeah, that's really
It's
all I
related.
mean. Like, what was he on? What was his priesthood that he was?
Go to Hebrews, right?
Chapter 8 or chapter 9.
Yeah, Hebrews chapter 6.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you go to Hebrews chapter 6, chapter 7.
Shalom.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, it was like way too much.
Oh, okay. Let's go there. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 20. Right? It was Hebrews 6 and 20, right? Should I say it?
Hebrews chapter 6, verse 20.
So he was a priest that was chosen from among priests, right?
Shalom.
Yeah, read that.
Hebrews chapter 6, verse 20. Whither the forerunner is for us entered, even Yahushua, made an high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
So it's showing you that Christ went through the same similar thing that Melchizedek did, right? He was made of the priesthood forever after the same order. But don't go much deeper than, you gotta go back to the Old Testament to read about Melchizedek and his priesthood. And how it said that Melchizedek was raised up. And that's actually said that Melchizedek died. Right? Read the next verse. Verse 1. Chapter 7 verse 1.
Hebrews chapter 7 verse 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings, and blessed him, to whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days, nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, abideth a priest continually.
So it's showing you, this was Melchizedek. It's not you. He was that king of peace during the time of Abraham. So when it says he was without mother, without father, a descendant. We know there's no kingdom. Everybody's born with a mother and father. But there is no lineage. The only thing you know about Melchizedek is what? His priesthood. That's what spoke to him.
Exactly. So not literally, but figuratively.
Right. Meaning that's the, like Christ said, who's my mother, who's my father? But then labor and the work. Yes, he had a mother and father, but that was his focus. He was known for one thing. He was known for his lineage. And when you read all through from Abraham, from David, all through the Bible is big on a person knowing his lineage. But his lineage wasn't the focus. Melchizedek's lineage wasn't the focus. His priesthood was the focus. And he was continually be that priest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I said I'm not.
Break it down, he's not saying he didn't have a father or mother.
Right.
It's just that didn't matter because all you know about him is priesthood.
Priesthood.
That's all that's written.
Right. But with Christ, the Bible doesn't go into Christ's lineage. It doesn't go into, we know Mary and Joseph was his parents, right? But it doesn't go into, where they was from and what they did, and it doesn't talk about relationships with him and his mom. It don't go through all that. It goes into, you deal with Christ being born, and then talks about at 12, then it shows him at 33, being what? A priest.
Yeah.
This is my son in whom I'm well pleased. Just like the Son of Man was. But that was the orderhood of the priest, though. His focus wasn't just where he came from. His focus was the duty that he did for the nation.
Principle.
Right. That's what was written about. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's easy to go that route than to try to say, well, I know of us have broke this down and used it showing that in reincarnation, these are the times that Christ is on the earth. I don't go into it like that because it's not, to me, I don't think it's concrete enough. I'm not saying that whether it's right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? We won't know. We really won't know until we get back, till Christ come back.
Yeah.
When Christ come back, we all here, we'll ask him. We can ask together. You know what I'm saying? But as far as me sitting here and saying that this is what it is, I know in part, we know in part, we prophesy in part. You know what I'm saying? But we do know that of the same priesthood, of that Christ was in the same priesthood as Melchizedek. It was that same way, same things expected of Melchizedek was the same thing expected of Christ. And you go into Hebrews, and you keep reading down. Now rewatch Hebrews chapter, that was 6, right? That was 7, right? Where we at? And it's a long class, but you really go into reading about it, but I'm just trying to kind of give you, do Hebrews chapter 5, verse 1.
Hebrews chapter 5, verse 1. For every high priest taken among men is ordained from men in things pertaining to the Most High.
Go ahead.
That he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins.
So is that not what Christ did? How do I know that? Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. So also Yahushua glorified not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee.
So who glorified the most Christ? The Most High did, right? He never glorified himself. So it wasn't my lineage. It wasn't who my father was. It was none of that would have made my priesthood authentic. It was the fact that this is who I was. I was a priest that was taken from among men. It says, for every high priest that's among men is ordained for men in things pertaining to the Most High. Right? Now read verse 2. Jump up to verse 2.
Verse 2. Who can have compassion on the ignorant?
Read.
And on them that are out of the way, for that he himself also is compassed with infirmity.
So it's showing you about that priesthood. There's a priest that was chosen from among the people, but he went through the same things they went through. So so that was the part of going here, because that is supposed to be the focus of the priesthood. It's not who your mother and father was. It was supposed to be about who? The things that you've endured, and now you can lead the people through what you've endured. Right? These are the things, these are the challenges, these are the things that you've gone through. Now, your job is to guide them through the things that they're going to be going through. You understand. So when you go now to pray to the Father for your people, you understand what they're going through. Right? Read on.
Verse 3. And by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer for sins.
Read on.
And no man taketh his honor unto himself.
Read.
But he that is called of the Most High was as was Aaron.
Read.
So also Yahushua glorified not himself.
So it's showing you that no man just couldn't ordain himself that.
True.
He had to be chosen. Right? You just didn't say you the priest. That's how kind of what brothers is doing now.
Yeah, he just was supposed to be.
You know what I'm saying? Brothers basically just said, man, since I gotta do breakdowns and I got me a show, I'm gonna call myself the priest. No, you have to go through a little more than that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just that easy. Even Christ didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? He was appointed. The Most said, this is my son in whom I'm well pleased. Hear ye him. So he didn't just take the authority onto himself. No priest did that. Aaron didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? So you look at it, it says that these are all those qualifications. And then you know the one thing you know about the priest of the Most High? It says he didn't honor himself. Right? It said he didn't glorify himself. He didn't have to call himself the comforter. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make sure that everybody knew who he was. And there's a level of respect that you're supposed to give me. That wasn't the mindset of the priest. I understood what the people was going through, and I prayed for them, for the Father. I made sure the sacrifices done that. You know what? Whatever sins and mistakes they've made, we clean this up. That was the focus of the priest. Read on, finish it real quick.
So also Yahushua glorified not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee.
Read on verse 6.
As he said also in another place, Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek.
We just read that, right?
Kind.
We just read that same thing.
Kind.
That means the focus of Melchizedek was what? It wasn't about his family lineage. That's why he said he had a mother, he had no father. He wasn't glorifying himself. It wasn't about his background. Paul even said that. When you read in Corinthians, I think it's Read 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 1. Get that for me. I think that's where it's at. But Paul tells you, man, he said, if it was about my pedigree, he said, I could boast if it was about my pedigree. But he didn't boast about his pedigree. Let's read that. I think it's 9 and 1, right?
1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 1.
Read that. Let me see if that's it. Read it.
Am I not an apostle?
Go ahead.
Am I not free?
Read.
Have I not seen Yahushua our Lord? Are not ye my work in the Lord?
Go ahead.
If I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you.
He said, why would Paul say, if I'm not an apostle to others, but no doubt, I'm an apostle to you? Because the brothers that he was with in Corinth, I put in the work with you guys. I was here cleaning y'all up. If the whole world don't recognize me as an apostle, but who did? The ones that he invested time into developing.
God, his fruit.
His fruit, right?
God.
Read on.
Second precept. For the seal of mine apostleship are ye in the Lord.
He said there who?
For the seal of my apostleship.
What appoints me apostle is what?
Are ye in the Lord.
He said what the Most High is looking at, what seals my apostleship is the fruit, the work that I've done. Not my family, not my mother, not my father, not where I come from. But what's supposed to speak for an apostle is the people. What speaks for the priest, the people that do.
Go ahead.
Did you want to also Philippians 3 and 4?
I think that's what I'm looking for.
This is Philippians chapter 3, verse 4.
Hold on, let me see this.
Though I might also have confidence in the flesh.
There you go. That's next. Let me finish this real quick. Finish that verse. And then we'll go here.
Verse 2 from the top.
Uh-huh.
If I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you.
Read.
For the seal of mine apostleship are ye in the Lord.
Read.
Mine answer to them that do examine me is this: have we not power to eat and to drink? Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles?
He said, but what gives me the right to know? What ordains me? What gives me the right to do this? Those they do. The fact that I've been doing it. That's what gives me the right, or gives me the power to lead about a sister, or to claim to be an apostle or a priest, is the fact that I've done it. So I can be a man, I've read the Bible, but I've never really led anyone. So I'm taking on the position, but I have no real works that says, yes, you are qualified to do this. That's what Paul said. This was spoke for me. The fact that I've done it is what makes me qualified. Now go here. Go to Philippians. One more.
Philippians
chapter
3, verse 4.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 4. Give me a call when y'all got it. Philippians chapter 3, verse 4. Though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more. Verse 5.
There you go. I like that.
Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel.
So he's going off of now? My pedigree. I'm telling you who I am, my tribe. I'm telling you about my family, my mother, my father. That's where I come from. I come from the best of Israel.
Go ahead.
And my father was a Pharisee. He was rich. My parents were wealthy people. He said, as soon as I have the confidence in the flesh, he said, I should have the more have it. Because if my money and my power or my position spoke, then mine will speak the more, because look where I come from. As Saul, this is where I come from. But if I'm a priest after the order of Melchizedek, none of this matters. You see what I'm saying? So then it's not talking about him if it's not him, it's not important if I have a mother or a father. I don't have a name. There was no thing about me that made me stand like the Pharisees were. This is I'm from a family of this, or the Levites back then, right? You were this. I was a priest, but my father was this priest. You know what I'm saying? Right. We came from this bloodline. This is who we were. We're from this bloodline. Melchizedek didn't. That wasn't mentioned because that's not the type of priest he was. He was a priest based off his what? His works. No different than Christ. Christ wasn't a priest that was based off of bloodline. Christ is a priest that was based off what?
Works.
His works. Like Paul is saying here. Paul's apostleship isn't based off of bloodline. It's based off of works.
I want to add a scripture to what you're saying. Is Luke chapter 3 verse 8. I'm just going to read it. This is John the Baptist preaching. He says, "Bring forth therefore fruits worthy of repentance, and begin not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to our father. Right. For I say unto you, that the Most High is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham." Yeah. So showing that it wasn't about a lineage or bragging rights. You know, you can brag because over your stock or where you come from, but that's not what it's about. You know, it's about, like Priest Barnabas just said, it's about the works you bring forth. That's what John the Baptist was preaching. What kind of works are you doing? You know, not to just brag on to say, well, you know, I'm gonna ride this coattail because I can prove my lineage, I can prove my genealogy, I can prove my descendancy. So I'm just gonna ride this coattail that I know I'm an Israelite. There's more to it than just knowing you're an Israelite than to making it to the kingdom.
It's crazy.
We were just talking about that. Like how Hebrews know you're a Hebrew, so what's next? What do you have to do next?
Right. And because you look at it now, you look at a brother now, it's more about today. Brothers today, it's more about the name that I'm making for myself more than the people that help me. Because that is what a church is supposed to be built off of. That's what's supposed to shine. If you go back to that, if you had to go and look up Melchizedek in the Old Testament.
Genesis chapter, it came out of slaughter in 14.
So,
Genesis chapter 14, verse 18. When Abraham slew Sodom and Gomorrah.
Go ahead. Genesis chapter 14 and verse 18. Genesis chapter 14, verse 18. "And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God." Verse 19. "And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand."
So you look at it this way. You know how you read about Aaron and then his sons. I'm sorry. I'm talking about brother. I'm forgetting them on the camera. But when you read about like Aaron and his sons and things like that, right? When you start going into the priesthood was big on who your father was, who your family was, right? But when you read about Melchizedek, you didn't read about none of that. It goes straight into what he was doing and how the Most High did. You read about him in, what is it? Psalms 14. Genesis 14, right? That was 18.
Yes, sir.
You finish it?
I was in verse 19.
And then now the other was read it.
Verse 20. Genesis chapter 14, verse 20. "And blessed be the Most High God, which had delivered thine enemies into thy hand.
Yep.
And he gave him tithes of all."
Now go to Psalms chapter 110 and verse 4.
Psalms chapter 110, verse 4.
Yeah, there you go.
You mean count when y'all got it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Psalms chapter 110, verse 4.
Yeah.
"The Lord has sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek."
Well, who did he say that to? You read up. Read one.
Verse 1. "The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Right. That's the reason why it goes to say that, you know what? Christ had the same priesthood. So I see why brothers used it in that breakdown, because Christ was given the same things that Melchizedek was given. And he was the only one that was given the same, he was the only priest that was dealt with the exact same way that Melchizedek was. He was going to be a priest forever. So I can see the thinking. They both received the same thing. And it was only done to them two. That's why I can see what brother say this is it. But I don't want to stretch it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that that's what that is. I'm saying that both of them were the only ones to receive this priesthood forever. All right? And we dealt the same way. Neither one of them passed. They went in the chariot. They went to the Most High the whole nine. But we not gonna go there. We go like the scripture say. We know in part. We don't prophesy in part. You don't go out what we can prove in there. You know what I'm saying? Now listen. I'm not claiming to be the best priest. I had elders. When they broke it down, I seen it. I seen what the point they was making. That, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not as skilled as that. I'm not even gonna try to even go that route. I'm gonna stay in my lane right now on this topic. Because I can prove reincarnation all day long. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I said you still look at that point of, and to answer the question about not having a father. We know Christ had a father and mother. We know that. Melchizedek had a father and mother. But when you go through the priesthood, you were honored. And that's why we'll go back to Philippians, because that's the one thing that Paul was trying to bring out. If it's according to the flesh, I'm of the stock of Israel, of the seed of Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? Of the tribe of Benjamin. I know my lineage. I know my family tree. I know who I am. But that's, read that. Where's your children? Tell me that.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 5.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 5. Give me a copy. Y'all got it? All right. Philippians chapter 3, verse 5. Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin.
So we talking about, if it's about the flesh, Paul's saying what? If this is about the flesh, this is who I am. My pedigree speaks for me, right? Read.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Go ahead.
And Hebrew of the Hebrews.
He said I was a Hebrew of the Hebrews. My family line, my bloodline, my stock, I can go back and trace all of that. So I was that priest that had what? A father and a mother. Because my bloodline spoke for my priesthood. Read on.
As touching the law, a Pharisee.
He said if it was about the law, we were lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Judges. We made the law. We enforced the law. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Concerning zeal, persecuting the church.
Read on.
Touching the righteousness which is in the law. Blameless. But what things were gained to me.
He said, but that type of priesthood, all that was given to me, go ahead.
Touching the righteousness which is in the law. Blameless.
Read.
But what things were gained to me.
Go ahead.
Those I counted loss for Christ.
Now Paul said, but all that I gained, my family name, the stock that I come from, a Hebrew of the Hebrews, blameless in the law, all that the stature we got to was counted nothing for the excellency of Christ. What did he mean? Now go to Hebrews to find out what was he talking about. Because you think, listen, that's a priesthood. Paul is telling you about what, by blood, what level I should be at. But what does it mean by that being no good for what I was going to gain with Christ? Go to Philippians now, right? Or Hebrews chapter, is it 8 or 9? 8 and verse 6. No, 9 and 6.
Hebrews chapter 9, verse 6. Now when these things were thus ordained.
Start at verse 1.
Hebrews 9, verse 1. Then verily the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service.
He said the first covenant, talking about the Old Testament, right? The first setup of the priesthood. The first time we got the law, when Aaron, Moses, it was all set up, it also had a divine what? Covenant, right?
Covenant.
We read about it all day long. We read in the Old Testament about that divine covenant that was set up during the time of Moses, Aaron, the Levites, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And a worldly sanctuary.
Read.
For there was a tabernacle made, the first, wherein was the candlestick, and the table, and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary.
So to show you, he's telling you that in the Old Testament, there was a worldly temple that was made up. It was put together. It had the altar, right? It had the showbread. It had the candlesticks. Read on.
And after the second veil.
And after the what?
The second veil.
Read.
The tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all.
Read.
Which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna.
Read.
And Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant.
So this showing you this was the temple. This is the sanctuary. We're reading about it. That was the first one.
Right.
We're reading about what the first temple was, the first sanctuary was. Read.
And over it the cherubims of the glory, shadowing the mercy seat.
And I want to add one thing too. What was the purpose of the sanctuary in the temple? What was the purpose of it?
Was it sacrifices for sin?
Let's go to Exodus chapter 25 and let's read verse 1 and then verse 8. So we got to know what the purpose of the temple was. The purpose of the sanctuary. What was it about? What was it for? Why was he instructed to put all these divine ordinances together?
Right, nice.
Let's read that.
Exodus chapter 25 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring meat and offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering.
Go ahead.
Jump down to verse 8.
No, finish it up. Yes, take my offering. Read. Now jump down to verse 8.
And let them make me a sanctuary.
He says, so the purpose of the temple originally was to develop a relationship with the Most High.
Right.
He says, y'all bring me an offering, because you bring me a sacrifice and an offering, and I'll oblige the sacrifice and offerings, and I'll petition whatever you ask me for. He said, but also make me a sanctuary. Go ahead.
That I may dwell among you.
So what was the purpose of the sanctuary?
For him to dwell among you.
It was a place that we could meet the Most High.
Right.
And it's a place that the Most High can come and commune with us one-on-one.
Right.
And it's where we can always have access to the Most High.
And that's what that first temple was.
That's what it was about. Read on.
No, hold on. No, you finish 8. Finish 8.
Finish 9.
Finish 9.
According to all that I showed thee.
And he said the Most High gave Moses the pattern of how the temple was supposed to be put together. The bowls, the altar of incense, the laver, the brass laver,
the gold. It said the holy of all, the gold, the ornaments.
The ornaments, right? The Most High showed Moses, this is the way I want you to put it together.
But even listen, it had manner.
Right.
It had some of their history of all that. This temple, this sanctuary, had some of everything that they had went through coming out of Egypt. Right. It had a piece of manna. It had Aaron's rod. It had the Ark of the Covenant.
It had the altar of incense.
All this.
You know what the Most High said, man?
Sanctuary.
If I'm gonna come down there, it's got to be my taste.
Yeah.
It's got to be to my liking. You can't walk into no junk.
Or you know that, or even almost like what's happening in the museum.
Right.
This is the manna. We kept a little of the manna that the Most High fed us with as a remembrance.
That's right.
You got to think how bad that temple was.
Right.
Aaron's rod. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna say, Art?
You know what's crazy about that manna is that it didn't rot like the other manna.
Right.
Because usually the manna would rot the next day. But that one
this one didn't, because the Most High made us collect all this as a what?
A memorial.
Now, there you go. No, but this was what Moses was instructed to do.
Right. So finish that real quick. Verse 9.
After the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make it.
So when we read in Hebrews, we read about that first tabernacle.
Right.
So we understand, according to that first tabernacle, what was the purpose of that first tabernacle? It was a place that the Most High can dwell with us.
Yes.
It was a place where he can commune with us. So throughout time, you're going to watch the Most High's relationship with us get closer and closer. But somebody got to bring about that service. To do the service to bring the Most High closer to us.
You got to find the story talks about, he said, do it with that vain oblations. Get that real quick. Keep reading. Now, go back to Hebrews now, right? While he's getting that. Go to Hebrews. Who's that? 9?
Hebrews 9 verse 5.
Yeah, we finish up 5. Read that real quick.
And over it the cherubims of glory, shadowing the mercy seat.
Read.
Of which we cannot now speak particularly.
He said, why now can they not speak them particularly? Because it's no longer there. Remember, Maccabees, right? So they went to the temple and ransacked it all, right? So we're dealing with Hebrews. We're dealing with the time of Paul now. So Paul's like, we know about these things, but they've gotten it had been destroyed by that time, right? Read on.
Verse 6. Now when these things were thus ordained, the priests went always into the first tabernacle.
They always went where?
Into the first tabernacle.
Go ahead.
Accomplishing the service of the Most High.
So that was what this temple is what we're talking about. He said this sanctuary, the priests were constantly there doing what? Sacrifice, the service of the Father. You know what I'm saying? Burnt offerings for the sins of Israel.
Sprinkling the blood.
Sprinkling the blood. Right? That was constantly, that was the duty of the priest and that first sanctuary. Right? Read on.
But into the second went the high priest alone, once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people. The Holy Spirit this signified, that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing.
Wow. So I like to understand that. Why is it that priests would walk in, and if you weren't as a priest good enough, you died, right? Going into the Holy of Holies, it was like few men, few priests, but it was something about that priest that he was allowed in. But during that time, it wasn't made manifest. You know what I'm saying? And then to look at Christ, what was Christ then to the Father? That, you know, what you gonna say, Tom?
No, I was gonna say that that high priesthood, when you look at the term of office, it was a life sentence, basically. So that priest had given his life.
There you go.
To serving the Most High.
But listen, but you did have priests that had the name.
Right.
They were priests by bloodline.
Right.
Like Paul was saying, you did have priests. We read about what was it? You can read about somebody give me, hold what you got. We're gonna go back here. Give me 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse. There you go. I like that. Dude, that's that. You'll get there. We'll read that one to hold out. That's 7, right? It's Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 1 and read verse 1.
Right. 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim.
Read.
And his name was Elkanah.
Go ahead.
The son of Jeroham.
Read.
The son of Elihu.
Read.
The son of Tohu.
But see, why did I'm going like this too? Because we're reading about what? Bloodlines, man. Israel was big on who your father was. Who your father's father was. Even, especially among Levi. If he was a priest, who was your father? You could just be any priest. But who was your father? Because I didn't know, was he a dedicated priest? Now you following that bloodline. So your bloodline did speak for you. Go ahead.
The son of Zup, an Ephraimite, Hannah, and the name of the other Penina.
And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah.
Read.
And the name of the other, Peninnah.
Go ahead.
And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children.
Now jump down to verse, come on.
Verse 13.
Verse 9.
So Hannah rose up.
Let that one read it. I want to be clear. Read it out.
So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Most High.
Read.
And she was in bitterness of spirit, and prayed unto the Most High, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid.
No, that's not what I wanted. That's not it. Hold on. Go here. Before you let that one go, go here real quick. Go to go back to Hebrews. I'm sorry. It's Hebrews chapter 7. And start at verse 23. That's the point I really want to get to. The point I want to show is that all throughout the Old Testament, priests had sons. A son's priesthood was based off of his what? His father, the bloodline, his grandfather. You know what I'm saying? So you might not have been a dedicated priest, but you were a priest based off of who your father was.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
So you've had many of those. And we're going to read that, Hebrews chapter 6 and read verse 23.
So Hebrews chapter, you said 7.
Oh, it's 7. That's the 7?
7.
It's 7.
Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 23.
Oh, let him ask this question real quick.
I was gonna ask, is that why over time, I guess, our people got so destroyed with the Pharisees? Because they were just, it just came through their lineage.
Right, it was more, we're going to read that too. That's what, exactly, because you're going to keep reading about, we had priests, but then we had priests, and because of that bloodline, he was respected as a priest, but he wasn't always upright in heart. And that's the verse I want to read here, because it says that. It tells you have many priests. Mark, read that real quick. Just answer that. Read that.
Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 23. And they truly were many priests.
Read.
Because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death.
He said they were what?
Not suffered to continue by reason of death.
Hold on. Read it from the top.
And Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 23. And they truly were many priests.
Go ahead.
Because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death.
Go ahead.
But this man, because he continueth ever, had an unchangeable priesthood.
He said, because he continued what?
Ever.
Meaning he didn't die. He was dedicated, like the brother said. The priest we talking about, Melchizedek, was what? Dedicated. Well, you had other priests, but they didn't continue. A lot of them died. A lot of them couldn't go into that Holy of Holies. They couldn't go into the second level because they weren't dedicated.
Nah, Aaron's own sons.
That's what we can read about. That's what Exodus, right?
The beginning of Exodus 28 is talking about the setting apart of the sons of Aaron as the priests. You know, but they made mistakes too.
Right. Oh, you can read all. Yeah, you read all through. You read about Aaron was a priest. He led Israel, but when you dealt with his sons, they was making all kinds of mistakes.
Yeah.
But in that man, that priest that wasn't dedicated, he only could go so far. By reason of death. That means if I take the other step and know that things have been in me, and I got to make that next step, I'm not gonna make it. But I love it because you're figuring out one thing about Christ. It wasn't about who his father was. He was holy. Listen, it was his righteousness that spoke for him, his dedication that spoke for him. So you look at a lot of brothers, I'm claiming my priesthood, but does dedication speak for me? Well, if I just started, if I've been here a few years, it's hard to say that dedication has spoke for you. That don't take away your ability to teach. That doesn't take away your ability to break the Bible down. None of those things.
But a priest wasn't based off just his ability to teach, because that is what preachers do today. They are the ones that are most disin-touch with the nation, right? They don't know what's going on with their people out there, but they can will a sermon and make you feel inspired after they open that book and showed you what's in that book. That wasn't the office of a priest. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't about the teaching. It was about this one was supposed to go in there, and I'm supposed to now go to the Father concerning your sins.
You're supposed to live it.
So a priest, you're right. It was lived. My life was about that, about Israel, about helping Israel.
As we were discussing a little bit earlier, was that the reason that the angel was coming from Moses even was that you can't be. We went to James 3:1 talking about become not many masters,
right?
Because we received a greater condemnation. Is that he was like for some little infraction that a brother might do, at a young dumb level, he get Acts 17:30. You know what I mean?
Right.
He said that ignorance. But when it's a priest, you might do the same thing. It's like, okay, you're dead.
You're dead because I expected more from you. This is what you're trying to portray. You don't just just do whatever you want to do.
Right. Yeah.
Our mistakes are way more crucial.
Yeah.
Because you think about this. Everybody's following my example, right? So if you follow what I'm doing, whatever I do, I just okayed it. Whatever I do, now when you follow it, I'm the one that said this was okay. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High took that serious. So we were supposed to take priesthood the exact same, right? We were supposed to take it just as serious. Finish that with the next scripture.
Verse 25. Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto God by him.
Hold on. Read that again.
Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto God by him.
Wow. Read.
Seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them.
So what was a priest supposed to be able to do?
Make intercession for them.
Read right before intercession. What does it say?
Seeing he ever liveth.
Seeing he what?
Ever liveth.
Read.
To make intercession for them.
So his life was dedicated to doing what?
His life was dedicated to bringing our people back.
There you go. That's it.
When they fall.
That is the mind of a real priest. His life is dedicated to. I'm only focused on bringing our people back to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about the fact that I can do what these preachers do today, and I can put fancy words together and I can make you feel inspired. But if I can't bring you back to the Father, then what good is it? What good is my priesthood? You see what I'm saying?
That's cold as hell. Because like when you think about it, that's our job now.
Right.
So they don't care.
Nope.
They don't think about that. But being in this truth, it says there's no greater sacrifice than you give your life for your brethren.
Right.
And all it is you just try to bring them back. You become that mediator like Christ was.
So brother, every day you're studying is based on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm understanding this is my duty. This is the priesthood I'm called into. That's why I said we're a generation of priests, right? What is that?
Exodus 19:6.
Give me the one in the New Testament too. It said we're a royal priesthood. That's the Bible calls us, right? And then you said Exodus 19 and verse what? Verse 6. We're going to just read these two real quick because I like the point you're making. He said, I was forever. My whole life was based around me coming in here and making intercession for the people to the Most High. Trying to bring them back. Trying to pray and ask the Most High to forgive Israel for what they've done. Trying to teach this brother and sister so that we get them back. That is supposed to be our life is supposed to be dedicated to. Go ahead.
It makes me think about Moses when he was dealing with us too. And the Most High said to Moses, move aside, I'm going to kill them and make of you a great nation. But Moses is like, But it shows like Moses' character and how Moses knew this.
There you go. And his love for Israel.
God.
Brother, you know what's crazy when you read that, even Hebrews, that was the whole purpose of Christ being put here. It was about going through, bearing our infirmity, going through what we went through, so that he can now make intercession. That is what you're here for. You know what I'm saying? I know every spirit, we're supposed to be knowing the spirits that people are battling, because I've been fighting to overcome the demons that roll on me, so I can help the next brother or next sister overcome theirs. But my life is supposed to be dedicated to that. That is the priesthood. You understand? Hold on, hold. Let that one go real quick. Let that go out. Give me Exodus. Give me the one in Exodus. Oh, give me the one in Peter first. First Peter chapter
2 verse 9.
2 and 9. And then you said the other one was what?
Exodus 19:6.
And the other brother get Exodus 19 and 6. You got that? That's what you got? Get that one. Now read that one first, then read that one now.
God. First Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation.
You are what?
A chosen generation.
Read.
A royal priesthood.
Go ahead.
And a holy nation.
But what makes us that now? Because our lives are now dedicated to what?
The next man.
That's it. And now trying to make intercession. Trying to now get the next brother or sister to come back to the Father. That is what my life is now dedicated to. That's what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? Every day is our studying is based on what brother or sister can I drop this truth on that I can now bring them from the world into now honoring and serving the Most High. That is what your priesthood is about. And the whole time, I love what we're reading about. That first chamber, and not being able to go to that second chamber. You watch brothers that come in, but they don't get to that next step. Why? Because their life is not dedicated to that. There are still things. I'm at this first stage in my priesthood because I still got pulls. There's still things in the world that I want. I'm still looking for time and attention and my own personal, it's still about me. So I'm still stuck where? I'm stuck where the rest of the priests is at. I've never been able to make the second, that step into that next chamber. Why? Because I haven't allowed myself to be dedicated. I haven't given my life to the priesthood. Question?
Before he had Yahweh Shai, I think it was Paul, he told him to come with him. I forgot, I don't really know the.
He told Peter that. He said, Paul, be fishers of men.
There you go.
And then also, you had the brother that came and said, he said, what do I got to do to be saved? Christ said, sell all that you have. Exactly. He said, keep the commandments first. The guy said, I've done that for my youth up. He said, well, if you're going to be perfect, if you're ready to take that next step, he says, sell all that you have and follow me. That means give up this life and dedicate to this life.
And that's also imagine so you give up your life to gain, I think everlasting, something like that.
Right. But you're looking at, this is those steps. This is where, as a priest, this really speaks for my priesthood. That's why, like when we read, Paul said, what speaks to my priesthood? You do. I may not be known as a priest anywhere else, but I'm a priest here because I've dedicated my life to the people that's here. That's what Paul said, right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be the same way. As a priest that took that next step, is because his life was dedicated to the flock, to the nation. So we got a lot of brothers that read the Bible, right? We got a lot of Bible readers, but we don't have a lot of priests. We got a lot of brothers reading the Bible, but they got some stuff to do. They're not ready to make that type of dedication yet. They're not ready to take that step. I'm still trying to buy that Lexus right now, man. I can't give my job up just yet. You know, I'm still trying to, I got goals, man. You know, I'm trying to finish college, you know. I'm just trying to find that rib, once I find a rib and we settle down, have a couple of kids, then I'll become a priest.
You gotta make it first.
Right? Sure. But stop, we were reading, I'm reading. I took the ranks, I moved up in the rank, I took the soldier's test, right? Took my offset 50, offset 100. I become a captain, I'm a 5 shield, or I'm a 5,000. Yeah. But it's something about them ranks. So you get that 5, that 10,000, all of a sudden it's time to be your captain, a leader, the brakes be, brothers be like, wait, hold on. You know what's time? You know how long I've been here? You know what's going on 15 years? You start, that's when the age, let's look at your age a little bit. You start counting. Hold on, I'm 30 right now. I'm in my early 30s, so if I back out just a little bit right there, I still got time to do something before I cross to my 40s. That's not a priest. That's a brother reading the Bible. I have to understand the priesthood was based on what? A life dedication. I've accepted the fact that I'm ready to step into that next chamber because my life is dedicated. This is where I've dedicated myself. You understand? Let's finish it up. We read that one again. 1 Peter 1 and 2 and 9, right?
Yes, sir.
And then give me the other one. Hey, listen. Yeah, give me that number 2 out.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9.
Then we're gonna go back to Hebrews, right?
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation.
That's who we are, man. We're supposed to be making those steps, going into that chamber. We're supposed to be building ourselves up to lead our nation. You know what I'm saying? If you're a royal priesthood, we understand we are a holy nation. That means our job is to lead our people out of captivity. But to lead them out of captivity, that is a life dedication. You have to dedicate your life to lead them out of captivity. Is that it? Read on.
A peculiar people.
Give me the next scripture.
Exodus chapter 19 and verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
You're going to be unto me a what?
A kingdom of priests.
Well, so we just got to figure out what type of... We know that. We proven that. We are a kingdom of priests, but you got certain priests that only want to go so far. And then you have the special priests that want to do what? They've dedicated their life to this.
Okay. I see, I got it right here when he read that, when I done Exodus, and what he replied to.
That's it. And this is the truth. This is what we are. We are a kingdom of priests. That means we as a nation are now going to lead the world. But is my life dedicated to that priesthood? That's what I have to ask myself. Or are there still a few things that I want to still do? I'm trying to get that college degree right now, man. I'm saving myself. I don't really want to dedicate my life because, I'm hoping one day I'm going to run into Holly Berry at the Walmart or something like that. Brothers be having dreams, you know what I'm saying? I got dreams right now. And right now, being a priest, that's not going to, it ain't popular. Ain't no time. You know what turn us off? You see your priest. He like this. Every priest is like this. He wake up like this. He go to bed like this. You're like, that phone is glued on. Because you call, think about this, if everybody in the room called Kazakia, when's Kazakia on sleep? Everybody call him though, right?
Done.
But let it be told, man, because I get always home. I know I can't leave the house, man, because every time I go somewhere, and I'm living the life of a priest. We in Trinidad right now, right? Brothers in Trinidad got questions. The phone is ringing. Somebody got to answer it. Somebody's got to now keep leading Israel to what? Salvation. Back to the Father, to salvation. Don't worry, listen, we ain't, that's why I love the fact that this is not about no reputation. I don't want the reputation. I want to sleep sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? But duty always calls. Duty calls. Duty calls. So I tell my brother, I see it. I'm like, man, you're demanding more and more of my time. The cap is growing. More and more of my time is demanded. Right?
God.
More brothers come in. That means more of me is required. But that's the part of the priesthood. Read that again.
Exodus chapter 19 and verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
Read.
And a holy nation.
You pick the book up. You pick the Bible up. So when you pick the Bible up and you start learning the book, right? What job did you just agree to take?
Be a priest.
You decided to be the priest. You decided you wanted to be a priest. When you said, man, I want to get up there, I want to teach like them brothers, man. You said you was drafted. You in, listen. But somebody put that Bible in your hand, put that a pot for your hand. You in there writing notes because you wanted to be deep. Welcome.
God.
I love about this because for every one brother, that means that the Most High gave every man 20 men that he had to be a priest to, that he had to now worry about this brother, these set of brothers, these families. How big would the nation be? You know what I'm saying? If that was the mindset, I am responsible for this body of brothers and sisters. So every day my studying is not for me, it's for them.
Always.
You see what I'm saying?
God.
I'm teaching for them. I'm sitting down putting aside my personal life so that I can make sure their problems and the things that they have going on are being dealt with. I'm building them up. The nation would grow. If our nation ain't growing, why?
Yeah, we're not moving.
No, you know what? Because we don't want to now, we don't want to do the job, all right? We don't want to do the job. We still want to be, we don't want to be the priest. I still want to be, I want to sit there and still be a student. Or I want the rank because I want to be able to tell somebody what to do. Because I think that's what it's about. I never realized I had to build you up first. So I can now direct you in what type of priesthood you're supposed to be. The flock that you're responsible for. You know what I'm saying? These are the lives that you're responsible for now, brother. Here. I'm trying to move here to be responsible for these lives, but I need you to stay here and be responsible for these lives. Now I'm home. I have family issues. My rib is tripping. Okay, but you still got to go to work, though. Because you don't get to tell the white man that, do you? And nobody called the post office and said, man, I ain't coming to work today because my wife is tripping. They were like, okay. Well, you just go and stay home then. Take care of your wife. But come tomorrow, there's somebody else sitting in that post office doing the job.
God.
The Most High doing the same thing. You have to understand who we are. We're that nation. Then you're not the only one. If you don't do the job, then all the Most High do is do what? Bring in someone else to do the job. That's what this is about. We have to get out of the condition that we're in, and we're not going to get out of here until we get our people right with the Father. Your college degree ain't going to get us out of here. You know what I'm saying? That job is not going to get that. You can have the greatest family of all time. You can be Obamas. We ain't getting out of here. The only way we going to get out of the condition that we in is if we can get our people start serving the Father as a nation. We have a lot of work to do. Go ahead, Hannah. Get your hand up. Go ahead, Doc.
Man, this is a crazy story. I remember when I was having trouble working at the mall, and I was really battling. The Most High had sent his brother. Yeah, he came to class. I wanted to have me pick him up.
Right.
Brother had a fro, the same birthday as me, same age as me. He was working at the airport. The airport is where I learned the truth and met her.
Right.
I was just sitting there talking to her. I'm like, golly, it's like we're the same. But that's when it clicked. It like registered in my mind. Like the Most High was like, bro, look, get your stuff together. Look, here he is.
Right. It's always
right here.
another you. It's always another you.
Same height.
You know the Most High was showing you too. This person is from you, like we read it earlier. He said you were ordained, you were chosen from the people, right? It matters that they going through. But this guy's life was like my life. Who could better understand what he's going through and to show him how to now, that he can now still come in here and please the Father? You are. Problem is, we battle with one demon, selfishness. You know, our life is so important that that's the only thing I'm supposed to focus on. And that is us being American made. That's everybody in the world. You watch them ride down the street, they're crazy. Listen, they ain't thinking about nobody else's safety. We don't watch two ladies. We come to class, we had to watch two ladies get run over. And then the dude that's driving the car, he loses control. He pissed off. I was like, you are driving with no regard, but like anybody else ain't got to get home either. Or they going somewhere, or got things to do. But while I'm in my car, my music on, I'm at home living my world, watching Netflix, whatever I do, I act like the world don't exist. It's just me and what I'm going through. But I bring that mentality into the work. I still think like I'm in the world. It's just me and what I have going on. It's not our nation, and we need those people. So that when the Most High had that brother come in, we needed him. Problem is, he didn't have a clue to what this is about. Whose job is to inform him about what this is about. But you know, when you say that, when you say the priest, what are we looking at? You're looking up here. So I'm going to sit down in my seat, because I ain't the priest. I'm in class like you're in class. But you've been saying that for about 6 years now. You know what I'm saying? You know how you've been here long. You done got here, you've been sitting down too long. When you start getting breakdowns, and you say, I already had that breakdown. Everybody do that. And then you go through about 3 or 4 notebooks, and I got that breakdown like 4 times. I got it 1 time in every notebook. You've been sitting down for a long time. What is it time for you to do? It's time to teach. It's time to spread it. But the only reason I'm not spreading it is why?
Selfish.
I'm selfish. The only reason I don't look at the people around me and say, man, The Most High is making me responsible for each and every soul that's sitting in these seats. The only reason I'm not looking at it that way is because I'm selfish. Now watch. Hold this real quick. What was we at? You finished that, right? Did you finish that? You finished that, you're right. You finished that?
We did.
We did?
Let me read it again.
Oh, that's fine. Hold that. Let it, give me 1 Peter now, right? Oh, yes, perfect. Give me 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 10 and 11.
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10 and verse 11.
And then, follow on. Give me Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. Start at verse 1. All right?
Yeah.
Check this out. This is on point.
Huh?
No, I don't remember what the question was. I know there's something about the priesthood, but we didn't kind of going into it a little bit, right? Where we at?
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10 and verse 11. Verse 10. As every man hath received a gift,
Read it again.
God, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another.
So if you've received the gift, you're supposed to do what?
Minister the same one to another.
So I'm supposed to now share my gift. I wasn't supposed to just sit down. I'm supposed to be doing what?
Minister the same one to another.
That means I got to now minister to you. My duty is to look at the congregation and say, you know what? I'm supposed to be focused on ministering to the next person, ministering to the body, minister to my people. What do they need? I got to give them what they need. Read.
God, as good stewards.
As what?
As good stewards.
Hold on, we got that word again. What's a steward?
One who manages the business of another.
Wow. One that does what?
Manage the business of another.
So what is the business that you're supposed to be managing now?
The gospel to be teaching to others.
That's it. That is the duty. That is what you're supposed to manage. I have to give this gospel to the next man. I got to look out for this next brother or sister's what? Spirit. That's the job. That's what you called for. That's what we're here doing. If it's a new sister coming in, whose spirit is she? Who's responsible for that spirit? Those other sisters, right? Because when you came in, did somebody take responsibility for your spirit?
God.
So if somebody took responsibility for yours, now it's your turn. It's your turn to now take responsibility for their spirit. Every person that's come through these doors, somebody took responsibility for your spirit. If it's a place you needed to stay, if it was a shower, food, whatever it was you needed. Some were extreme, some weren't as extreme. No matter what you needed, though, somebody said, you know what? I'm going to take responsibility for that spirit. More come, you have to accept the fact that I'm the one, I'm supposed to take responsibility for those new spirits. That's the job. Read on.
God, as good stewards.
As what?
As good stewards.
That means it doesn't belong to you. We not. See, that's the problem. Everybody want to do what? Everybody want to own it. I want to say this is mine, but it ain't yours. Those souls don't belong to you. They belong to who?
The Most High.
They're his people, man. Actually, they belong to Christ. Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? They his people. You ain't died. You gotta look at it, man. We are all stewards. I come in to do a job, but I have to I have to take responsibility for the spirits that are around me. The ones that need help, they're your responsibility. Like someone took responsibility for you in your spirit. Read on.
Con. Of the manifold grace of the Most High.
Read.
Verse 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High.
Let him speak as what?
As the oracles of the Most High.
So if I'm speaking, it's always these scriptures. It's beautiful, man. I'm going to say this on there, but I talked to a brother. He's probably watching the show tonight. But I talked to a brother earlier today. He's in Miami. It was a beautiful conversation. Because all we talked was the scriptures the whole time, right? That showed me one thing. Somebody's took responsibility for this brother's spirit, and they've been feeding him the Bible. And all he asked of me was, brother, but I be having questions, man. Can I call? Oh, you better call. My salvation, you know what I'm saying, is riding on the fact that you call me. That's what it's supposed to be. But that's a man that's taking his priesthood seriously. I'm taking the job seriously. That is what we have to decide to come into. How far in this priesthood are you planning to go? Are you going to the point where you reach your limit and die off? Or are you trying to take this the way Melchizedek took it, the way Yahushua took it? This is how you're supposed to ask. These are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Because if I'm really going to take it, and I'm dedicating my life to this, then my life is built around it. My life is, there is no plan B for me. There is no plan B. There is no backup plan. This is the retirement plan. You know what I'm saying?
Son.
Okay. This is the 401k. This is the retirement plan. I've accepted my role as a priest. And my days are going to be dedicated to ministering to the body, to taking souls and giving whatever they need. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
That's what this truth is about. If we make mistakes, we only make mistakes for one reason. Because I have not made that choice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
When it comes to being a priest, right? Like stepping into that full-time duty of an office of a priest. When will you know that it's that time, being that the scriptures say be not many masters?
You know most of this. Give me Galatians. Yeah, Galatians 4:1. Yeah,
Galatians.
Yep. Galatians chapter 4 verse 1. This is how you know.
Galatians. Give me a comment. Y'all got it?
Done.
Galatians chapter.
Read it.
Galatians chapter 4 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child.
So we look at the heir. We talk about that priest. We talk about that prince, right? So I know we the sons of the Most High. Like we went on last night, right? Or not last night. Last time I was in here. But you look at it, one thing. Even as in that position as a leader, he says when we're a child or young in the truth, he said we no different than a what? A servant. That means I'm allowing someone to develop me. Read it.
Different nothing from a servant.
Read it from the top again.
From the top. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child.
So that heir or that young brother, as long as he's a child, he's the king. He didn't say ready to be the king yet. You know what I'm saying? We know you're the man, but right now you just ain't ready to be the man, right? But one day you're gonna be the man. So the Most High is showing you, as long as you are just young in the spirit, read.
Different nothing from a servant.
He said, I'm no different than a what?
From a servant.
I had to come in and serve. I had to come in and learn this program. I had to come and be dedicated. I got to come in here and be used. Use me so that I can learn it quicker. Because right now I'm no different than a servant. Read.
Though he be Lord of all.
Though you going to be the man. Read on.
Verse 2. But it's under tutors and governors.
I'm under what?
Tutors and governors.
A tutor is somebody that works with you hand in hand every day. They walk me through this. They make sure I understand that. They make sure I understand this. So for me to now properly assume my position, somebody had to walk me hand in hand and walk me through everything so that I understood it. I love this out because you know the truth of it is, you got men that come in and this brother needs this. This brother may need to know how to take care of his family. So I got to now walk him through that. But if no one's ever walked me through it, I won't be prepared to walk him through it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this brother may come in and he got a lot to work on. You never know what you're going to encounter. You never know what situation a person has been in. They're going to walk through them doors. But I almost got to be ready for everything, right?
Yeah.
But that's that tutor and governor does. That tutor is there working with you, getting you prepared, letting you see the different spirits that you're going to be dealing with, the different conditions of our people that you have to face. So while I'm under that tutor and governor, they're showing me these things. Help me understand the program. Help me understand the spirit. Help me understand the Father and the will of the Father. Read on.
But it's under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father.
Until when?
Until the time appointed of the Father.
That means the Father's going to say, okay, this brother's ready. How do I know this brother's ready? Because now the men that have been tutoring you the whole time is saying what now? Listen, we need you to lead. But it's something about that position that spooks men. It's time for you to take everything that was given to you and give it to them. Because now these fresh faces is now looking at you. But in the spirit, that's when we start doing this. I'm trying to look for, I ain't ready. I ain't ready. I'm not ready. That's what our actions are saying. I'm not ready. But who has now appointed you? Father has, man. You know you're ready now because it's like you got your elders pushing you to go do the job now. Brother, what else? Your next step is to do what now? Lead. Be responsible for these spirits. So to answer that question, or to start answering it, that time invested, the time invested into you is what's going to prepare you. It isn't even prepare you now for that, the point where the Most High is like, okay, brother, here, you ready? What's the next scripture you have? Was that into that one?
Yes, sir.
That was Galatians, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Chapter 4, verse 1 and 2.
Read it.
This is Matthew chapter 9, verse 36 and 37.
Matthew chapter 9, verse 36. Give me a comment when y'all have it, please.
36 through 38.
All
Everybody got it?
Got it.
All right. Go ahead, read it.
Matthew chapter 9, verse 36. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them.
He was moved with what?
Compassion on them.
So you got to look at it. I love the point. We should start into it, right? How do I know I'm ready? Because I see the body coming out. As I'm watching Israel come in, what's supposed to be the spirit on you?
Compassion.
Compassion. I can look at them and not the spirit of selfishness. Like, that's not my responsibility. You know you're ready because the spirit is going to be on you. It's the same spirit that moves a man. His compassion. How can I help? How can I help?
And one of the definitions of compassion is empathy. And when you look at the definition of empathy, empathy means the power to project oneself as to fully understand the person of contemplation. That's a power. To really put yourself in somebody else's shoes and think from their perspective. That's what it takes to have compassion. You got to put yourself in other people's shoes. That's what Christ was all about.
Your life has to be dedicated to that. My life is dedicated to, man, you know what, I'm thinking about others, like Philippians. He said you have to esteem others better than yourself. Because that's what Christ did. That's what Yahweh Shah was about. That is what the priest is supposed to have been about. The priest focus was on the concern of the nation or the people that the Most High had given him to now look after. Finish that, give me John 10.
He was moved with compassion on them because they fainted.
Because they what?
Because they fainted.
He said, so I'm moved. I mean, I'm motivated by the compassion that I see for the ones that are weak. So when I see this brother getting weak, I want to do more to help him. That's how I know I'm doing what? I'm getting myself ready for that priesthood. But when I can sit back and I can watch people around me struggling and I'm doing this, I'm just sitting down, I ain't ready for the priesthood. When that spirit of compassion is not on me, when I'm not motivated by what I'm watching, people go through every day, I ain't ready to be a priest. I still got other things to do. And we see it every day. You driving out to the store. If I'm a correction officer, I'm watching our people every single day suffering. What's supposed to move me?
Compassion.
It's supposed to. No different when I walk down the street, man. Because my compassion for what they're going through is supposed to be my motivation. When I'm studying, that's my motivation. When I'm building, that's my motivation. Because Israel needs help. That's got to be my motivation. That's what the priesthood is about. Finish it?
Got it. And words, because they fainted and were scattered abroad.
Read.
As sheep having no shepherd.
As what?
As sheep having no shepherd.
Hold that. Yeah, okay, go ahead, read on.
Verse 37. Then said he unto his disciples,
go ahead.
The harvest truly is plenteous.
So what is plentiful?
The harvest truly is plenteous.
So the work, the people hurting out there is plentiful. The people that are going through things and need compassion, that is plentiful. But what?
But the laborers are few.
Why are the laborers few?
People don't want to step into that.
Yeah, because I'm too selfish, man. That's it. I'm too selfish. That's why the laborers is few laborers. Not many people want this job. But this the job, this the work that gets us to the kingdom. Give me hope. That was it.
Verse 38.
Read it.
Verse 38. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
That's what we pray for every day. We pray for the Most High to send more men with compassion in their heart that want to dedicate to going out here and out helping our people out of the condition that they living in. A brother can look at it and he can't stomach it. I can't stomach the hurt they're going through, so I got to figure out something to do to help them. That's what we pray for. That's why we put so much fire. That's why we push men so hard. We hurrying to push you through your fears, your weaknesses. Why?
Make you strong.
Because their condition is getting worse, huh? Their condition out there is getting worse faster and faster. You know what I'm saying?
God.
From little kids to everything. What? You know what I'm saying? There's only so much one person can do. It's only so much a few men can do, huh? You gotta come. You can't just sit and ignore. Because you ignore it, ain't gonna mean it's gonna get better. If you're gonna be a future father, a husband, look what you bringing your family into. Look what you bringing your children in. And if you won't do it, who gonna do it for your kid? Who gonna do it for your seed? You gotta be a priest to raise up a priest, right? We all get old. But if I was old and I didn't raise up another man to be a priest, I got sons. So when I pass, who's gonna be there for them? There won't be. That's the problem with our nation, huh? Where are the men with compassion in their heart? Right? Enough to get tired of what they see out here every day. Can let me take my place. Let me step up in my role and work on my priesthood so that I can now help the ones out there. Let's stop playing dress up. You know what I'm saying? Give me that. When we read that, you finish that one?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. I want to give me John real fast. St. John, there you go. St. John chapter 10. That's it. Verse 11.
St. John chapter 10 verse 11.
I'm sorry, start verse 1. I'm going to read down to 11.
St. John chapter 10 verse 1.
I like this chapter because this before all the figures. Been doing heresy too. Heretic or whatever it's called. Read it.
Verily, verily, I say unto you.
Go ahead.
He that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold.
And that's what you coming in. I'll be coming into the body. But he that enter in not by the door. I don't want to come in the right way. I'm trying to be one of them cats that slid in. Got some scriptures, you know what I'm saying? Was it con, man? Con. You don't see me. When it's time to go to work, I'm looking for an easier way to get it done. Because we honestly, every brother, there's got to be an easier way to do this. I've been that 25-year-old looking for an easy way to do this. I've been looking for a long time. But I ain't found it. So when you find it, please let me know. Because the problem is not what we do in here. The problem is what's going on out there. And then what condition they come in from out there. Every priest got one saying. He said, man, we got demons on him, man. This sister got demons on him. This brother got spirits on him, right? Where they getting them from? We can't keep up. see that going to work. You left your house in a good spirit, man. All of a sudden, from the drive to the job to home, you like, I gotta go read. I got some prayers up when I get home. Let me get my mind back right for what I had to encounter throughout the day.
Okay.
Our battling, fighting here is what they facing when they go out there. This world is wicked. My children and everything, they're exposed to everything out there. We really don't have a lot of time to waste. Things ain't getting better. They need help. But it's one way to come in. I had to come in dedicated. I had to come in this work and ready to dedicate my life to saving and helping my nation. If I really love them, if I really have compassion, right?
Okay.
Read on.
But climbing up some other way. The same is a thief and a robber.
Read on.
But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
I had to come in and let someone tutor and govern and build me up to understand my flock, to understand my nation, to understand my people. So I can be compassionate. So I can help them. So I can even understand where they need help. Read on.
Verse 3. To him the porter opened it.
He said the door opens to that man. Read.
And the sheep hear his voice.
And he's going to be able to lead that flock, those spirits. Read on.
And he called his own sheep by name.
But what is it going to require for that shepherd to have that? Jump down to verse 11.
Verse 11. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
He give his life for what?
For the sheep.
That's when they're going to respect him. Is my life dedicated to them? Or am I still trying to put my life together? That's what the Most High wants to see. Are you that dedicated man that I can make a priest? Read on.
But he that is a hireling.
But he that is a what?
Hireling.
What's hireling?
A definition of a hireling is a wage worker.
I'm trying to come up.
Like for money.
I'm a money man. I'm trying to figure out how can I come up in this. I do it, but I'm trying to figure out where's the come up. Do it get better? We were not supposed to be like that. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of struggling.
1 Peter 5:2.
God, I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of struggling. Where's the come up? There is no come up. Read.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2.
1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 2. Feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you.
Read.
Taking the oversight thereof.
Taking the what?
Oversight thereof.
Listen, read on.
Not by constraint, but willingly.
Not somebody making me, but I want to do it. Read.
Not for filthy lucre.
Not for what?
Filthy lucre.
Not for the come up. Because that's what I think is a come up. There is no come up. Your reward is in heaven now. You're going to sacrifice a lot here. There's no hair in my ribs. There's no pot of gold. You know what I'm saying? You may get a few more fringes and studs on your garment. But there is not. That's not the come up, huh? The reward is not in any lucre, any financial. Your only come up has to do one thing. You have to feel good about who you are. You have to know who you're serving. I do this for the Father. My reward is with him. My treasure is in heaven. I have to have that strong of a foundation that I understand that the dedication. But if I dedicate my life to this, my next life is going to be this. That's the reward. That's the payout. Your spot in the kingdom. How bad you want it? Because you got to give a life to get a life. You understand? You want to make it to the kingdom? You got to give up a life. You got to, listen, something is going to be sacrificed. It's one or the other. He that finds his life shall lose it. But the one you're going to lose is your spot in the kingdom. But he that loses his life for my sake shall what? Yeah, I'm going to find my life in the kingdom. But you got to ask yourself which one you want the best. You want this temporary life now? Or you want an everlasting life? That's what you got to ask. But to get the kingdom, you got to lead Israel. We don't get it by ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
God.
He ain't given it to one individual man. As a nation, this is a kingdom waiting for us. Our job is to go build it. But the way to build this one, we can't put no bricks on this. We ain't gonna be able to frame it. We can't build streets. We have to go get the people to occupy this kingdom. You understand?
God.
That's the job requirement. That's what we're here for. So read 11 again. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Finish yours.
Last precept. But of a ready mind.
No, read up.
Start from the top?
Yep.
God. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2. Feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you.
Which is where?
Among you.
That's why I like what Paul said earlier. He said, I may not be a priest anywhere else, but I know where I am a priest. Right here. Because of what I've been doing for the flock that's among me. You can be a regular nobody everywhere else. But where is it? I know here, this is where I'm supposed to be important. Because of what I've dedicated to you, what I've given, the compassion I've shown, the time I've invested in the body I've been around. Read on.
God. Taking the oversight thereof.
I know what's needed. I'm overseeing. What are you overseeing? You know, it's like saying, I'm here, and how can I feed the body? What can I do for the body? I'm supposed to come here in that mind frame. What can I do for the body? He said, not by constraint, right?
God.
No one's making me consider the body. I'm coming in the mind frame. What can I do to help? And I'm doing that willingly. I ain't waiting for somebody to ask me to help. I'm coming in, and where I can help, I'm jumping in to help. Because that's what the Most High told me to do. Not for filthy lucre, right?
God.
I'm not ready to come help because I think other brothers is coming up. I see the brother in the fly low, man. They must be coming up over there. I'm gonna join that camp because their brothers is just as sharp. They drop some fly cars. They doing something right over there. Jesus is definitely with them. You better take that back to church, would you? I promise you, it ain't gonna be like that, man. It ain't gonna be. You know. It's some Israelites in the room. It's like Sister Kate would understand. She's like, I'm going to Houston and do the work of the Most High. I'm like, damn, I didn't know it was like this. I didn't know it was going to be this much giving. You get a little. You do, the Most High do take care of us. But you give more time, energy, everything than you getting back. Because the reward wasn't supposed to be here.
God.
Our reward is where?
In heaven.
That's what we're working towards. We're working towards the kingdom.
God.
You know what I'm saying?
God.
Finish it?
God. Not by constraint.
Not by what?
Constraint.
Not because somebody, I feel like I'm doomed if I don't. Because now you got a lot of brothers in that mind frame. Well, the Most High going to destroy me if I don't do it. No, he won't. A minute, brother, this work is so big, I know where if you don't do it. Go be a sheep. Because I ain't looking for sheep. We're looking for shepherds. So if you try to be a sheep, stay on the internet. Stay on the internet if you're just trying to be a sheep, right? We'll keep teaching you. That means I'm not going to step up because if I don't, the Most High going to do something to me. I'm stepping up because that compassion for my people. Because I'm tired of what I'm seeing. I'm tired of they suffering. So if the Most High sent someone through these doors that needed my help, then I was here and ready to help them. That's what this is about. Read on.
But willingly.
But what?
Willingly.
I want to do it. Read on.
Not for filthy lucre.
Go ahead.
But of a ready mind.
Read on.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage.
Because whose heritage is it?
The Most High's heritage.
That means this belonged to him. I ain't trying to be a lord over it. I want to help. That may be the spirit that we've lost sight of. I want to be the one to tell people what to do. I'm supposed to be in here being this spirit of, I want to help the next brother, the next sister. I'm looking for somebody to serve me. Christ said, the greater thou art, the more of a servant you become. So anything I do, if I take a wife, I'm taking a wife because I want to help build her up. Not just because I was looking for somebody to do what? Serve me, yeah. I need some help. So I'm trying to give me a servant. But yeah, we go out here and get these brothers to come in because we need some more men to serve. We in the wrong mind frame. The doors ain't, this place ain't gonna never get full. You see what I'm saying?
God.
I gotta be in the mind frame. I gotta be here in the mind frame that my job is to help the next person coming through them doors. I gotta clean them up. I gotta dedicate my time to cleaning them up because they need help. That's gotta be the focus. If you have here, who can you help? If you home comfortable, who can you help? Nah, you do nobody no good. You helping yourself.
Especially when you become complacent.
That's it.
God.
You don't study. Who can you help? You're not where the men are. So who can you help? That's why you're building yourself up. But you're being groomed to come in and help. And the Most High got you here because he knows that's a spirit on you. You have the spirit of compassion. You are tired of watching your people in the condition that they're in. And you've been tired for a long time. You finish it?
But, last precept.
Okay.
But being in samples.
Being a what?
In sample.
That means I'm a working example. That means to be an in sample, I have to see you. You understand what I'm saying?
Con.
An example is something I left. I left something for you to follow. An example is a tutor. I'm there right with you so that you can now follow me. I'm going to be your example of how to get out of here. But if you're not here, guess what I can't be?
An example.
If I'm not here for you, guess what I can't be?
An example.
I can't be your example. Read on. Is that it? Finish it.
Con. To the flock.
Verse 4. Read on.
Verse 4. And when the chief shepherd shall appear.
When the real example, he says, shall appear. But when Yahushua comes back, read on.
You shall receive a crown of glory.
You shall receive what?
A crown of glory.
I mean, you was crowned because you did what? You fed the flock. You were here every day, giving them an example to follow. And that's what gained you your spot in the kingdom. You understand?
God.
Read on. Finish.
That fadeth not away.
That does what?
Fadeth not away.
That means the kingdom you trying to build now, or the things you trying to be comfortable with here, are going to do what? They're going to fade. You watch them fade every day anyway. I had a good job. I had that good little relationship. What happened, man? She faded away. They gonna make a love song about you, man. I was like, you wrapped it. I'm trying to put my trust in this world, and all that happens is it fades away. Job opportunities come, they go. Relationships come, they go. People come in and out your life, they go. Everything you're trying to grab onto, he's trying to show you that's going to fade. What is the only thing that won't fade? Your crown. That's why the Bible says, set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth.
God.
Because this up here, what the Most High have, ain't going to fade. Everything on the world is going to fade. From there. Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Oh, chapter 5, sorry. Chapter 5, and you're going to jump to verse...
2 Corinthians chapter 5.
And verse 17.
And verse 17. Give me a count when you got it.
Gone.
Go ahead.
God. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ.
If any man be where?
In Yahushua.
How do you know that man is in Yahushua? He got his fringes on. He's sitting in class. Beard is there. Studs.
Blah.
He got the Hebrew talk, right?
Blah.
So he looked the part. But he's here. I give every man that walked through them doors at least that. He's here. The Most High called him. So the Most High called that man, then obviously the Most High want to use him, right?
God.
That's why we attack selfishness, pride. We attack it. Because if you hear it, that means the Most High is trying to use you. So if any man be what?
Therefore, if any man be in Yahushua,
read.
He is a new creature.
He is a what?
New creature.
You got a new opportunity. The Most High has wiped your slate clean. I'm giving you a new opportunity. New job, new opportunity. You ain't the same man. So everything you was out there, you think you coming in with, you might as well leave it out there. It's no good. It's no good in here. It's no good for the job that you're about to prepare to do. That's the best way of putting it, right? I'm not going to say that what you do is not important. It just may not be used for the job that the Most High is getting you ready to do.
That's like when you're going to boot camp. That's the first thing they do. You unpack all your stuff once you're there, and basically you left with some drawers, like 2 pair of drawers, a couple pair of socks. That's it.
There's a new haircut.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Yeah.
It's all new, man.
Ship it back home.
They shipped it back home. They shipped everything back home. That's what the Most High do is in the spirit. Oh, you was the man out here? Okay, well, what, if you ever get back out there, it'll wait for you. But you a new man now. We starting all over. If you coming in here to go to work, then you decided I'm ready to start over. Read on.
Time. All things are passed away.
What is that?
Old things.
Not all things, but what?
Old.
Yeah, that old. I tell you was the man. I believe you. You was in the world, yes, you was the man. In whatever world you was doing, you was the man. But you had to leave that there. You could have been the track star, the football star, the baseball star. Listen, we can sit down at the bar and we can talk about all of that. But we come here to work. You can't use none of it. The spiritual battle we finna battle, you can't use any of it. The college degree, you can't use any of it. Everything old, I gotta leave it home. These old things are past. Read.
God, behold, all things are become new.
Read.
God, and all things are of the Most High, who hath reconciled us to himself.
He said he have called you back to where?
To himself.
Listen, that's why I said, but the Most High called you. And I got a new job for you. But I don't need any of the old stuff. I don't need your worldly accomplishments. They only good in the world. I got the degree, but the degree can't get you in the kingdom. So the degree is only good for the world. My Mac game was tight. I was a ladies' man. That was good for the club. But there ain't no club in here. The type of women ain't here, so it kind of, it do you no good. No. But when you watch most people struggle in the truth, because I'm trying to bring that on in here. We let it adore, but the Most High don't accept it. So most people get angry because they always aren't accepted by the Father. You don't get blessed because you was the old man. You start getting blessed in your life because you've allowed yourself to be the new man. Read on.
Who hath reconciled unto us, unto himself by Yahushua, and hath given to us the ministry of reconciliation.
He's giving you what?
The ministry of reconciliation.
That's why the rest of this stuff ain't no good. Because the priesthood is about now me coming in and learning this ministry so that I can bring Israel back. That's the job. So I gotta bring a new notebook. You can't come in there with your old notes. I gotta clear my head. I gotta get ready to sit down and learn this ministry so I can bring these people back to the Father. And I guarantee you, not one class, not nothing you did in the world prepared you at all for the job that you are being called to do. Right. I was the prom queen. Shit, I was the valedictorian. Like, all right, good. Won't you go and give your mama them little tassels? Let her put it up on the pedestal of the house. Because I got one. They got all my little track trophies. And they're at my mama's house. Whenever I feel like I want to live in the glory days, I go home. But when I come to work, I close the door, man. It ain't gonna do me no good in the job that I gotta do. Good night.
Yeah, what's funny about that, I used to tell people all the time that I had, because I've been in college, I've been out in other places and stuff, but I dropped out of college like 4 times. I was like, man, this stuff dumb. But this was the only book, because I didn't like to read even in school, but this was the only book that I picked up, and like I read it, but I enjoyed reading it, and it made me smarter than any learning institution I've ever been in. And when you get around other people, they be talking about they stupid.
Yeah, because you know, it's still, like I said, for the job that you have to do, this is the only book that's going to pay you for the job that you got to go do now. This is what you call for. So it's almost to like the point, the faster I grab that concept and jump in and do the job and dedicate myself, I make my life a lot easier. I'm called for it, man. The Most High got me here. But you know what burns a man at night? What burns him at night and keeps you in that book is because you do have that compassion. You've been tired. You're tired of what you see. How do I know that? Because every time if you're at the barbershop, let somebody, you got some preachers on now, let somebody say, man, every time I notice every time I come in, you always wearing the little tassels, man. What's that about? Shoot, I could have about 9 people, 9 heads ready to cut. Everybody waited because I got to drop a little of this dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he interested. Y'all going down the street and get a haircut if you really wanted one. But right now, I understand. He needed. You know what I'm saying? You watch people, you like, man, I watched them go through something they like. And I'm like, I wish I could, let me show them something to help them. Male and female. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you could have went to a death. How many people that went to a funeral and it's like, you know the book? You got a whole room full of crying people. And you know the Bible. Like, you know what? Yeah, you got your hand going. I gotta say something. What you gonna say, Larry?
No, I see, like, when I went to Palace Roy, this lady got out this paper. She said, let me show you something. She said, you can order all these magazines, like People and Cookbook and all of that. I said, but man, what I'm gonna do with that? I don't read that. I said, it just be coming. I'm not gonna read that. I'm too much in the scripture.
There you go. Because them books can't help nobody anyway.
I'm not
wasting time. I like that's the mind frame. Yeah. But think about how many of us are wasting our time. I'm wasting time, but the point I'm looking at, that's how I know you're here for that reason. Your compassion is there. When I can show somebody, I'm gonna show them. Problem is, the wall we run into is I have to humble myself. Like, right, I gotta be able to, I'm used to being the man. It's in my way, in everybody's own individual world, you the man or the woman, you know what I'm saying? You the most special person to you. You know what I'm saying? But when you come out of your world, and now you have to now come to the work of the Most High, you brand new. You starting all over. I'm starting all over, learning to develop and grow. And then I'm learning that every day is dedicated to me learning how to help someone else. When I come from a world where we ain't helping nobody. We live in a world where we help ourselves. Even as parents to our kids, we only did so much. Our parents only did so much. Most of the time, you go home when you really need, but most of the time you're doing it on your own. Your kids do it on their own. We're not conditioned to help. Or if you did help, it was an immediate family. When I gave a bum a peanut butter jelly sandwich one day on the street, man, you know. I was doing I helped. I had some change in the ashtray. You might know that. I ain't gonna roll the window all the way down. I'm gonna roll about this much, just up my head and stick out. Here you go, dog. We ain't conditioned to help. That's not the mindset we in. Then you come in here, and that is the ministry it's all about. The ministry is all about helping Israel. Taking our people and bringing them back to the Father. Reconciling them from the world back to Him. That's the job. So finish that. Tell me where you're at.
Done. That was the end of verse 18. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 18. Starting verse 19.
Hold on, let me say that.
Time.
All right, read on. Go ahead.
Con, verse 19. To wilt that the Most High was in Yahushua, reconciling the world unto Himself,
read.
Not imputing their trespasses unto them, and hath committed.
Not doing what? Not pushing their trespass onto them. I think it was about just judging them. We can't look at everybody wicked, right? Not everything is their fault. But we look at it that way. We get that habit. I don't want to give. I don't want to dedicate because I'm looking at everybody as what? This person's wicked. Of course they're wicked. Where do you think they came from?
Right. Same place we came from.
Right. You tell your kid to go out, you let your kid go out and play in the mud. What do you think he's bringing in the house with him?
Right.
You should have. When you play in the mud, you get mud. So they're in the wicked world. What do you think they're gonna be? We can't hold it against them. Our job is to get them, help them clean themselves up in the eyes of the Father. You got to be around for that. That takes dedicated time. I've dedicated a lot of my time helping people bridge that. That is what we're supposed to be here doing. Read on. Tell me where you're at.
Con, second precept. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 19. Second precept. Not imputing their trespasses unto them.
Read.
And hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. Now then, we are ambassadors.
We are what?
Ambassadors.
What is an ambassador?
Representative.
Hold on, I got it right here. It says a person who acts as a representative or promoter of a specific activity. So you're now representing Yahweh by Yahushua, right?
God.
I have to understand the job. That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm developing. I'm developing myself so that I can be a good representative. I can be a good example to this world. I want to be more of a representative. So when people out in the world who may have never really known about Israel, but I watched a YouTube video. When they see you, what should they see? Right, they see Mosiah Yahushua. They should see a good representative. So when they left, right, when you left them, what impression of the truth did you leave them with? Did you build their faith? Or did you tear it down? Did you add something to them? Or was it all just about you? That's probably, but we're ambassadors, huh? When they see you in them fringes and they say, are you an Israelite? You just put your ambassador hat on. Yes, I am. I am the spokesperson for Israel for you. That's how you gotta look at it. Say, brother, are you an Israelite? Yes, I am the ambassador. I'm the spokesperson of Israel for you. I can't speak for everybody. So they be talking about, I see, what's I doing that? I don't know about that. I know what type of ambassador I am. And I can speak for me. Read on.
We are ambassadors for Yahushua.
Go ahead.
As though the Most High did beseech you by us. We pray you in Yahushua's stead. Be ye reconciled to the Most High. Verse 21. For he hath made to be sin for us.
For he hath made what?
I'll read it again. For he hath made him to be sin for us.
Read.
Who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of the Most High in him.
So you look at it, I brought him around sinners. I put him around you to do what? So you would have an example out. But if I'm selfish and I'm all up in my world and what I'm going through, I'm not there for anybody to follow me out. If I'm home, who's following you? Nobody. If I just wrapped it in my world, then who can follow you?
Nobody.
So what kind of priest are you? Get back to that point, right? What do you minister?
What I know.
That's why you got to be around. I got to be around to learn more. So I learned how to be that representative of Yahweh Yahushua. Right? I want to now keep learning so that I can be the best representation. That's what we're supposed to be here doing. From there, to the next one. Go to Matthew chapter 19.
Matthew chapter 19.
Get it? Got it?
Yes, sir. Verse 1?
Verse 27, 28.
Yes, sir. Matthew chapter 27.
19.
Verse 19.
No, chapter
Slap.
19.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. You mean Conway, y'all got it? Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all.
And what you're listening to is a man that's beginning to doubt. This is a man's doubt speaking. This is a man who was putting in work with Yahushua, but there's that little itch in the back of his mind that, is this in vain? Did I do this in vain? I've been sacrificing. I've been working. I've been this priest. I've been this student. I've been this disciple. I've been walking with you. But something is telling me that maybe there is something else that I'm missing, or that there's left for me to do. This is nothing but a man's doubt coming in his mind, making him think that, man, maybe I've left it all, and I can't go back to my plan B. Like, what? Okay, I've done it all. I ain't got family left. I've disposed of my family business. I've disposed of my income. I've disposed of my inheritance. I forsook all my friends. I forsook my community. I've been walking with you from this day forth when you told me, put down my nets. So this is a man's doubt. This is going to happen. This is written so that we can learn from this, so that no matter how far you go, you don't let doubt creep in. That you don't let doubt come in your mind thinking that, man, this is too much. The requirement to be a priest is too much. Read it again.
Verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee.
He said, we've done it all. We've given all up. This same thing is required of each and every one of us who have been chosen to be these priests. Each and every one of us have been chosen to give it all up, to have no backup plan. This is my only obligation. This is my only duty. This is my number one affection. This is my love. This is what I choose to do. There's nothing else that I want to do in this life. And when you have a good life, it's especially hard to give up. if you come from a stable background, because not everybody come in the truth hurting. Some people come stable. And it's even that much harder to detach. Because I had my ducks together. I had my ducks in a row. I had my life somewhat going as planned. But now, I gave up all my plans for what now? What am I going to get? Read.
What shall we have, therefore?
That was Peter's doubt speaking. What am I going to get after I done gave all this up to follow you, Christ? What am I going to get in return? So he had to be reassured. What did Yahushua say?
And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration.
He says, when I return, like we read earlier, when the good shepherd shall appear, then he's going to be coming to hand out crowns. He said in the regeneration when Christ returns, go ahead.
When the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory.
When he comes back in his power. Read.
Ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones.
You shall not be forgotten. I'm not going to forget you. All your sacrifices, all your labor, all your work, everything that you left, it's not going to be forgotten. It's going to be worth it.
Right.
Hold that real quick and give me Hebrews 6 and 10.
Okay. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 10. For God is not unrighteous.
The Most High is not what?
Unrighteous.
So everything that you lost, everything that this cost to be this disciple, this student, this priest, this servant, this minister, everything that it took to become that priest or that minister. He said the Most High is not unrighteous. Go ahead.
To forget your work.
To forget all your work, all your sacrifices, all your dedication, all your losses. Go ahead.
And labor of love.
And the things that you did out of what?
Labor of love.
You did it out of what?
Of love.
You did it out of love. As long as you did it out of love, he won't forget about it.
Yeah.
But if you did it for money, it's forgotten. If you did it for the wrong reason, it's forgotten.
Yes.
If you did it out of constraint, because somebody forced you to do it, then it's not remembered. Because we didn't do it in the right capacity. This is about coming to the Most High in the right capacity, in the right purpose. He said, your labor of what?
Of love.
Go ahead.
Which ye have shown toward his name.
Toward his name. So this is guaranteed. Read on.
In that ye have ministered to the saints.
And that you have done what? Ministered. Been a priest. That all your priestly service wasn't in vain. Everything that you've done for the body of Christ will be remembered and you shall be rewarded. It's a win-win situation. You cannot lose sacrificing for the body. You cannot lose. It's guaranteed. Matter of fact, hold this and let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and let's read verse 2 in the Apocrypha.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 2. Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 2. Do good to the godly man.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt find a recompense.
You know, everything that you do for the body, all your sacrifices you do for the body, all your compassion, all your mercy, all of the extending yourself, the late nights, the long hours, the charity, the hospitality that you show, everything that you do for in the name of Christ. Go ahead.
And thou shalt find a recompense.
You're going to get rewarded for it. And even if the people that you've been laboring for can't pay you back.
And if not from him, yet from the Most High.
They're not going to be able to pay you back. Because they're broken. They're trying to be repaired. How can they help you? Our reward comes from who?
The Most High.
The Most High. He'll pay us back. So it's a win-win situation. Every loss is a win. Every sacrifice is a win. Everything you give up, it's a win. You're guaranteed not to fail. So let that go. Let's go back to where we was at in Hebrews.
Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 10. For God is not unrighteous.
And that's why we know, we believe in the Most High that he's not unrighteous. Go ahead.
to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have shown toward his name.
Go ahead.
And that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister.
And that you constantly minister. You got to be found faithful. That's one of the things that Christ said when he returns. He said, blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, finds so what? Doing. God. You got to be in the work. You can't fall out the work and get a blessing. You can't go for a certain amount of time and say, I hope I did enough. Man, I did 10 years. I hope 10 years was enough. I did 15. I did 20. I hope the most I count that 20. It's not a retirement. Not in that way. It's a lifestyle. When Yahushua returns, am I active in this work? Am I active in it? Am I constantly ministering? I can't fall out and expect a blessing. Now let that go. Let's go back to
Matthews chapter 9. Matthew chapter 19.
Verse what? 28?
Verse 28.
Can I add this real quick?
Yo, go ahead. Add that.
Ecclesiastes 11 verse 20.
Let's get it. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 20.
This is what you were saying.
Good.
Read it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 11 and verse 20.
24.
Be steadfast in thy covenant.
He said what?
Be steadfast in thy covenant.
Now, one of the brothers had a beautiful definition of steadfast 2 days ago. Beautiful definition of steadfast. What was that definition? Aria, I think you had it, or Zion had it. I think everybody had it.
Lamad had it.
Lamad had it.
Unwavering.
Yes. Read that definition of steadfast. Beautiful definition.
Guys, unwavering.
Unwavering.
Resolution. It says faith. It says adherence.
Adherence means I'm constantly in compliance to. I never get out of compliance with the job at hand.
Right.
You never catch me out of pocket with the Most High, doing or reaping my own benefit or gain. I constantly stay in compliance with the Most High in the job that's required of me to do. What else you got? It's the point is made. It's steadfast. It's active. He said, be steadfast. What else?
In thy covenant, and be conversant therein.
Be conversant. Meaning this is what I talk about. This is what occupies my mind. More than the Rockets being the #1 position in the West. Who's going to get, what's going to happen to LeBron next year? What the Lakers going to do? More than who going to die on The Walking Dead? Game of Thrones. It's not, we talk about these things. We hear this idle conversation all day long. But where's my mind at? Where's my conversation at? It's always in, what else do we need to do to spread this gospel? Who else can we help in this circumstance? Who can we pull from this stage in their life, like I was in that stage in my life, to this next level? Remember the scripture says, who can have compassion on them that are out of the way? It says, knowing he himself was compassed about with infirmity. I have to have a knowledge that I was crooked, that I was wrong in my life, that I made mistakes in my life. And that drives me also in the fact that I need to extend myself like somebody extended to me when I was in my filth. And that's the job. I'm constantly trying to pull people out of filth. That's the job at hand. From a destructive mind frame. Read on.
And wax old in thy work.
Man, he said you got to wax old where?
In thy work.
So you got to do this for a long time. Sometimes that waxing old gets old. For those that been doing it for a while. It starts to get old and they stop. And that's the biggest mistake you can make. Paul said you run this race to win the race. You don't run the race in vain. He said not to be as one that beateth the air. I don't do this for nothing. I know what I'm swinging at. I know where the finish line is. I do this to obtain the victory. You gotta be willing to accept the fact that this priesthood is a lifelong decision. Read.
Marvel not at the works of sinners.
Don't trip at what they do. Don't like we read earlier, Don't lose your compassion because they're sinners. That's what they're supposed to be.
Don't get envious of the wicked.
Right.
Right?
Psalm 73. Big mistake. They get freedom. They got liberty. How come the Most High not putting them under this scrutiny? How come I got to live under these confines? I got this tight schedule that I got to live by. I got to give ETAs, deadlines. I got to be somewhere at all times. Never no free time. But they get to do what they want to do. Who's judging them? It's not about that. Read on.
Well, let me say this too. What you make just one? They're not signed up for the job. They're not here trying to do the job you try to do either. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They didn't want to come to those doors to do the same job that you did. So this is what your job requires. Their life don't require that. They the sheep. You working to be the shepherd. That's what we have to remember, right?
Read on.
But trust in the Most High.
So that's where Peter was getting to the point where he had to put his trust into the Most High. We forsaken all. What shall we receive? It takes trust to know that the Most High is not going to leave you hanging to this work. Read.
And abide in thy labor.
He says, abide. I'm constant in my labor.
My work, man.
I know the job at hand. I know what the job requires. It's self-sacrifice.
Nice.
Read.
For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Most High on the sudden to make a poor man rich.
You know, if we stop that labor, the Most High will take another man from a broken position and replace us.
Yeah. Or think about this. If I was a broken man, if I was already, I'm struggling in my life. He said nothing for the Most High to make a poor man rich. But I have to focus on what though?
The Most High.
I got to abide in my labor. Let me stay working what I'm supposed to do. The Most High's got me. Or from what I'm doing, look how many people are going to get help from what I'm doing. I can look at it either way to go say, listen, it's still a come up.
Right.
But the reward doesn't come to you individually. It comes to the nation. As a nation, we come up. As a nation, we grow. Right? Finish that?
Nah. Verse 22. Go to 24. The blessing of the Most High is in the reward of the godly.
That is his blessing. And the fact that once you finish your job as a priest, that lifelong job until Yahushua returns, that's when you get your blessing. That's what Yahushua was trying to convince and persuade Peter. You don't have to worry. When I come back, I got you. Read on.
And suddenly he made his blessing to flourish.
Go ahead.
Say not, what profit is there of my servant?
And that's what Peter was talking about. Man, I forsook it all. What good is it going to do me that I have nothing left but trusting what you tell me? I have to live by your word. I got to be convinced and persuaded that this lifestyle is a blessing in the end. That it means something. It's going to add up at the end. Read.
And what good things shall I have hereafter?
It says, what good is the Most High going to do for me? What is he going to do for me after I do this work? Because a lot of times we got that nature too. Show me something first, then I'll show you something. Prove to me that you're with me first. Bless me first, then I'll operate in faith. It doesn't work that way.
It says strive for the truth.
Unto death.
He said strive for the truth unto death. He said
then the Lord shall fight for thee.
Ecclesiastes 4:28.
What is it?
Ecclesiastes 4:28.
Get that real quick. Get that. Go back. Perfect.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 28. Strive for the truth unto death.
For how long?
Unto death. And the Lord shall fight for thee.
Then you see the power of the Most High come upon you. Because then Christ said, when you're weak, then you are strong.
Yeah.
So it's that time that you're bottomed out. You don't have any strength left. Then you watch the Most High's power rest upon you. It's when you've given all and you've sacrificed all. That's when he'll come to the rescue. But a lot of men don't push themselves to that point.
Right.
They don't commit to that point where they're willing to give it all up. And I have nothing left but the Most High coming through for me. Now I'm living by hope. Romans 8:24, real quick.
You know, they look at it. That's what the brother's trying to. I'm trying to reserve my energy.
Right.
I'm trying to pace myself because maybe if this don't go come through, I got a backup plan. It don't work like that. The Most High wants us all in. He said you can't serve two masters, right? He said you love the one or hate the other. He said, but if you lukewarm, he said he spit you out of his mouth. He getting rid of you. He said, I'd rather you was hot or cold.
Read that. Romans 8:24.
Romans chapter 8, verse 24. For we are saved by hope.
You only got what?
Saved by hope.
What all you got to put in your pocket?
Saved by hope.
What's the only thing that you got to increase in that's going to get you to the end?
Hope.
That's all you got. You have to get to the point where that's all you have, because that's when salvation is coming. Is when you sit back and know that your confidence is in the fact that this is not in vain.
Right.
That all I'm doing every day, I'm living off the fact that I'm hoping that the Most High comes through for me. I'm trusting that the Most High is going to be a man of His word, so I'm going to keep giving. I'm going to keep extending. I'm going to keep sacrificing. Read on.
God. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen.
Is hope that is what?
That is seen.
You can't see hope. You're not. So if it's seen, if you can see how it's going to come through, go ahead.
Then it is not hope.
Then it's not hope. Then it's not faith. And we know the scripture says without faith is what?
Impossible to please the Most High.
It's impossible to please the Most High. The Most High want to get you, He wants you to get yourself to the point to where all you have is hope in Him. To where you can lean on Him and you can acknowledge Him and give Him the glory. That's when you give the Most High the glory. Because you know it wasn't by your power that got you to where you are. You knew it was the fact that all I had was trust that the Most High was going to come through, and then He came through like He said He did. And when the Most High comes through on His behalf, what does that do to my faith? It increases my faith even that much more. Now I know the Most High is a man of His word. And He doesn't back out of His agreements. But a lot of us come out of the world. Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 29, verse 7. Yeah, finish that.
God, for what a man seeth, why do we yet hope for?
Because you know what? If I see it, ain't no need for hope.
Right. That's the catch I want to finish it. Because that's the catch. That's what it's about.
Right.
If you can see it, it ain't hope. That's why I like the point of going back and saying, that's why I like the point of saying, I got to be a new creature. Because you don't know what's going to happen. You can't control anything. You can't predict anything. You got to just have faith. You got to let the Most High use you and put your life in His hands. Because there's nothing out in the world that can prepare us. Read that and finish that.
We'll read Ecclesiastes 29:7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 29 and verse 7. Many therefore have refused to live.
And a lot of brothers come to truth and they refuse to give. They refuse. I just refuse to keep giving myself to programs that fail me every time. I've been to Baptist church, Methodist, Episcopalian, Seventh-day Adventist, Lutheran, Methodist, Calvinist, non-denominational, Muslim, whatever. A lot of us have put our trust in institutions and so-called religious doctrine. And because we got burned, we don't trust no more. Who don't we trust anymore? It's the Most High we don't trust anymore. Because of the things that happened to me in this filthy life. Things that people have done to me that's wrong. I don't want to put my trust in the Most High. I've already done that. He said many people come in the truth and they stop giving because it's out of what? Read.
For other men's ill dealing.
Because other people did me wrong. So, man, I'm not going all into this truth.
That's bad.
Because I went to this camp and this camp did this to me. So I'm not going in no more.
Yeah. Or I watched other men and what they went through, or they lack of dedication, or whatever it was, and I'm using that for the reason why I don't go all in.
Right. Because I heard what they do. Ain't never been in it, but I heard.
Yeah.
I heard they take your money over there.
So I'm liking one thing out. This is the priesthood we coming into. This is the Most High trying to show us. This is that priesthood. That was off a question, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's about 10 right now, right?
Okay.
We're not gonna keep everybody all night. The last time we but when's the next class? Next class is Friday, right? We'll be back here again Friday. We'll be here all week, actually, man. We'll be here Friday and Saturday. Sabbath reading. We'll be here Friday, so we can either ask more questions or we can go into the topic in class. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the brother did the introductory or the announcements, you know what I'm saying? But we want to make sure we invite everybody to come back out again. You know what I'm saying? Glad we had a brother in class, man. You seem like you heard it somewhere before a little bit. Good. Our brother's been dropping on you, man. So this is what this is about. This is about having, like the point, having that love and compassion for our people to start bringing them in and helping them change what they're doing out there, change their lifestyle. You know, start bringing them to the Father. We ain't here to make nobody rich. We about to make you rich in spirit. You know what I'm saying? But that's what this is about. And that's our duty. You know what I'm saying? So with that, you know, we're gonna say shalom to the brothers and sisters online right now on YouTube. And then we're gonna, you know, say the Lord's Prayer, four corners. We can go ahead and let everybody get out here for the night and then be back here on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Questions. Hopefully we should have more questions before we were going over, man. But I've been enjoying it. So as much as on y'all end, y'all are getting understanding, we getting it up here too. You know what I'm saying? And as much as it's touching y'all spirit, it's doing the same thing on this end. The scriptures are a two-edged sword. So as you feel like you're getting cut, we cut too. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures tell you got to be more dedicated. It's telling us we got to be more dedicated. It's helping, as we bring in these things to y'all's remembrance, it's helping us come back and remember what we're supposed to be doing. We strive to the truth and to death. We do this to the end. You know what I'm saying? That's what it has to be. So with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. And for the brothers and sisters in here,